video is brought to you by Letsynthesize Academy, the #1 place for practice-oriented courses for serious music producers.
Hey, Letsyn here, welcome to the newest Synthesize episode, and today I want to show you how to process your bass sound into aggressivity. So let me show you what we are going to do today. So this is the pure Serum preset, and this is what we can do with that. Like always, you can download the sound from my Patreon below, and if you want to dig deeper into very heavy bass music production, check my academy for awesome start to finish courses, but right now, let's jump into it. Okay, let's jump right into it. We have no time to waste because the kitty videos won't watch themselves. So I want to start with the Serum. Let's choose a Wavetable, for example, from Spectral. Monster 5 is a really cool thing. Let's, for example, add a band warping mode. And let's use an LFO to modulate it. Okay, and let's add a band pass. Because if you want to apply heavy distortion or heavy process, you really need to be careful with the highs and the very, very lows. So this is why I'm using a bandpass filter that focuses a little more on the mid bass frequencies that gives the aggressiveness of a sound. So something like that, let's maybe make it slower. Okay, so right now it is very, very quiet, but don't worry, because with the process we're going to add a lot more weight and a lot more volume. Okay, so I guess what you guys would normally do is adding a huge amount of OTTs, like let's say 3 instances of OTTs. So right now, mid frequencies are a little too quiet, so I'm adding them back a little. So yeah, it's a little better now, but you know, it's still not the best. Let's add the EQ because for me, the mid-high frequencies are a little too much. So this frequency area here, you can clearly hear that annoying frequency. And maybe a little more on the tops. To make it sounding a little better, I want to go back adding an equalizer. Let's chop off the very highs. And again, with huge amounts of post-process, this can help us really well. And maybe a phaser to make it sounding a little deeper. Okay, so this is what normally lots of guys would do. This can create a little more on the top sound, but this does not give real aggressiveness to your sound. So what I'm going to do is, let's call these OTTs. And I want to create a new chain. And let's name this real aggressiveness. Okay, so aggressiveness comes from very smart and very heavy distortion. Now, we have lots of distortions in the drive folder. We have the amp, the cabinet, we have overdrive, pedal, saturation. These are really cool devices, but my favorite is the amp. So let's drop an amp after the Serum preset. I'm going to disable the OTTs now. And I want to go with the boost. Let's add a lot of gain, for example 9 decibels. Crank up the bass, a little more on the middles, like at around 7 decibels. A lot more top end. And crank up the presence too. So our sound instantly turned into something really cool. Now there are some major volume differences, but don't worry about that. Okay, I want to add the slight compression with the multiband dynamics device. The multiband compression is a light OTT, I would say. So as you can hear, it adds a little more clarity to the sound. But before that, I want to apply an equalizer to shape the sound a lot more. I want to add huge amounts of low end. And I also want to cut the middles. And I also want to boost the tops. But before that, I want to cut the very highs and boost those tops at around 8K. Okay, let's add one more EQ dot. Let's increase the frequencies at around 4 and 5K. And again, this frequency range can add a little more aggressiveness to the sound. Alright, after the compressor, I want to apply another EQ, because there are some frequencies that I really want to kill here. This huge peak, you know, the mid-bass frequency, and a lot more tops again. But at the same time, at around 7K, I want to add a dip, because it is too annoying, too sweepy. This frequency is too sweepy, so I think this cut might be enough. Next, add the saturator with lots of extra drive, like 7 decibels. And turn on the soft clip so it will avoid digital clipping. And before we can have lots of side frequencies too, I want to make the sound mono. Now keep in mind that this is mid frequencies, so you will have to use a separate sub for that. But don't worry now, I think this sound is already really cool and sounds a lot better than the OTT version. So this is what I call real aggressiveness that comes from the amp that I really love here. So let's close everything. But what if you like both of the versions? Let me show you a really cool thing. So open the macros. Open the chain, right click and map to macro. With this we will be able to control the chain selector with macro 1. Let's select both of the chains, drag both of them to the end. And the cool part is this, you can add fades. So look at this, on 0 you have the full OTT version, and on max you have the full real aggressive version. But what we did here is we are fading the sound from one to each other and creating a whole range of different colors, and this is so cool. So right now we are adding a little more OTT version to the real aggressive version. And this version has both of the advantages that you might really love. And how cool is that, man? And if you want, you can still add an OTT after that. But honestly, I'm fine without that. Let's add a limiter instead with 4 decibels extra volume. And this will just really push everything to the ceiling. This won't really kill your sound, so you can go with different wavetables and the whole sound will change. Or change the warping mode to mirror. And as you can see, we are not using even one voice of unison or nothing really, and this is pure awesomeness. Okay, don't forget that you can download this sound from my Patreon below and check my academy for awesome start to finish courses. I was Larson. See you guys next time. Peace.